Hello, my friends. So today is October the 7th, and this is a birthday reading for those folks born on October the 7th. This is also for any event or startup of any kind that was born on this date. This is not just about a person, this can be about a business, a country, whatever is born on this date, October the 7th. Maybe look at it through that lens. So this is a four-card pull, a general energy card, for the year, a challenge you might face this year, an action you can take to stay in balance, and an outcome or a synopsis of understanding card. So what is the general energy card of the year? Well, it's the mask. Normally the mask, we think the mask is something that hides us, hides our truth behind it, because we don't want to share that truth. Here's another way to look at the mask. Maybe the mask is what we need to put on in order for us to step out of our closet, step out of our dungeons, and actually become a part of who we are authentically. So we are asked to be our truthful selves, and sometimes the only way we can do that is to put on a mask of courage, a mask of sureness, a mask of bravado, a mask of caring, a mask of not caring, whatever is the mask, or pretending to not care, the mask of anything that acts us. Remember this, we're on a stage. Life is a stage. We come in kind of blank slates with our original mask. What was our original mask? What did our faces look like before our mothers and fathers had us? What was our original face? We come in with a blank face in a lot of ways, maybe programmed by some karmic possibilities. But, in the biggest part, we come in and we learn how, through our parents and our family and our society and our church and our friends, we learn how to speak and think that, feels okay with them. We learn how to think in certain lines. We develop their own, the postures and the views and the often preconceptions and the doctrines and everything else that kind of formulate us into learning about ourselves and growing into ourselves. And then we think, in our 20s and 30s that we have the truth of our mask, but we're often the truth of our authenticity, but we're often hiding something that we didn't like, that went against the church, or went against our family, or went against ourselves in some way, and we did something or we said something, and we hold a lot of junk inside of us that doesn't need to be held inside of us, but we still feel like it can't be shown to the world, and we hide it away. So the mask card often says sometimes you need to hide away things to keep them safe and to keep them confidential, particularly for others, and to keep them in the right time, in the right space for when they're revealed. But other times you need to put on the mask. You need to put on a new face. You need to try your new persona, because everyone else is doing this. Everyone else is putting on new masks. So you never really know who you are, who they are. They don't know who they are. We don't know who we are. So we're trying to find out who we authentically are. So this might be a time of looking at your authenticity, donning a new mask so that you can really play into it, find out your truth in it, speak it and perform it and dance it and act it in a way that magnifies it, so that you can get a clearer understanding of who you really are underneath that, and let old things come up inside of you. So here's your challenge, October the 7th. It is the Empress. And what is the Empress except, boy, sensuality, sexuality, femininity, motherliness, intuition, connection, Mother Nature, the raw and wild emotional part of self, the heart part of self, the compassion part of self. They're all connected to the mother, the root of being, the mother that gives forth. The earth is in this. So what is your challenge? Well, the challenge could be any one of those faces that you don't know how to put on. Do you know how to put on the face of a caring mother? Do you know how to allow your intuition to come out and be shown? Do you allow your care and concern to be given over? Do you allow your sensuality, your sexuality? Do you allow yourself to be real and authentic and show that emotional part of yourself, that heart-centered part of yourself, that compassionate centered part of yourself? Do you allow yourself to be receptive and taking in of other people's understandings so that you can share yours more easily as well? So all of these could be the clear in the mix of this year. How are you allowing yourself to be? The other side of this is the emperor, and the emperor is kind of the opposite, but the needed part, the masculine, outgoing, creative part that says, I'm going to build society, I'm going to be the adventurer, I'm going to create the dynamics of civilization, I'm going to make the laws that you all need to follow, and I'm going to think about and analyze everything, and I'll rely on my mind only, and my will and my mind and my sense of what I need to create and what I can create. It doesn't necessarily take into consideration the emotions and the intuitions and the deep feelings of connectedness and sharing and joy and respect for the others around oneself. Not necessarily, but so what is your action to take as these questions come up this year, of how are you allowing yourself to put on the mask of someone who cares, allowing yourself to put on the mask of someone who has deep intuition, allowing yourself to put on the mask of sensuality, sexuality, fertility, mothering, nurturing, compassion, playfulness, connections to nature. How are you allowing yourself to put on that mask? It might be scaring you, but that's what you're called to do. And this is the action that you can take. Well, the crow is all about understanding that there are spiritual laws and there are human laws, and the emperor builds human laws that are not necessarily fair to everyone in all aspects, because the emperor usually sees with blind eye, with a prejudiced eye towards certain parts of society, towards certain aspects of people, and they don't want some of those aspects to show up in our quote civilization, so they kind of tighten down. But the crow says there are spiritual laws, says that we are all worthy, that we are all full of the need to have respect and allowance and the chance to pursue our lives and the option to connect into our spirituality and dance our own religion and dance our own spirit and dance our own joy and dance our own sense of self on the earth, with a trust that God is much wider than what limited man thinks, and God is much more accepting of God's creation. God us all that is. I don't use just God. God us all that is, creator, whatever you want to say, that divine aspect that is both masculine and feminine, that is the combination of all things, all beingness. And that all beingness says you can be intuitive and allow it. You can be mothering and allow it. You can be sensual and sexual and allow it. You can trust in some bigger picture to give you the right answer on that spiritual plane that maybe society and maybe your family and maybe your lover and maybe you yourself don't necessarily understand or respect yet. But if you put on the mask of it and you try on these faces that you aren't allowing yourself to show and feel as openly as you wish you could, then what you're going to do is make a big indentation in the hard shell civilization's enclosement, and you can break through. This is the synopsis card. You can break through some of the walls of society. You can break through something that you haven't been allowed to share, and you can come out of your egg in a way that's open and ready to tell your truth, to live your authenticity, to dance your vision and not hide it any longer, not hide it in a shell. Be born out of your small self into your bigger self. Be born out of your unopen self into a full opening, a full growth, a full sense of your experiences, both male and female, masculine and feminine, intuitive and analytical, connected to the sacred and connected to the earth. At the heart is the center where the spirit comes down and the mundane meets it, the earth meets it, and the heavens and the earth meet in the heart. And we are here to both be spiritual beings enacting physical life and physical beings enacting a spiritual sense of ourselves. And thereby do we progress, and thereby do we shine as humans. So allow yourself to shine this year. Give yourself a chance to put on a mask that really tells the truth for you. Aho Mitakuye Oyasin.